The core of Oklahoma HB 1225 is a prohibition on amending the biological sex listed on a person's birth certificate. The bill states that the biological sex designation denoted to a child at birth on the certificate of birth shall not be amended. This places Oklahoma among the states attempting to permanently lock transgender people into documents that do not reflect who they are. HB 1225 was introduced on February 3rd, 2025, and moved to the House Rules Committee the next day. HB 1225 amends Oklahoma's Vital Records Statute 63 OS 1 321 to prohibit any change to the sex marker on a birth certificate. This means no transgender adult can update their birth certificate to match their lived gender. No transgender youth can correct their documents as they grow into their identity. No intersex person can amend a sex designation assigned without their consent. No corrections are allowed even when medical documentation supports the change. The bill requires amended certificates to be marked amended, but then removes the ability to amend the sex marker at all. This is not a neutral administrative change. It is a targeted restriction on legal recognition. Birth certificates are foundational identity documents. They are used to obtain driver's license, state IDs, passports, social security records, school enrollment, employment verification, housing applications, background checks, insurance, marriage license. When a birth certificate cannot be corrected, every downstream document becomes harder or impossible to align with the person's identity. For transgender people, mismatched documents create a constant risk of being outed, being denied services, being harassed, being misgendered, and being placed in unsafe situations. HB 1225 forces transgender people to carry a document that contradicts their identity for life. For transgender adults, HB 1225 creates a permanent barrier to legal recognition. This affects employment. Employers often require birth certificates for background checks. A mismatched sex marker can lead to discrimination or job loss. Housing. Landlords may question or deny applications when documents do not match. Healthcare. Providers may misgender or deny care when legal documents contradict a patient's identity. Travel. Passport applications require consistent documentation. HB 1225 makes this difficult or impossible. Safety. Every ID check becomes a moment of vulnerability. This bill effectively legislates forced outing. For transgender youth, HB 1225 sends a clear message. The state will not recognize who you are. This has consequences for school enrollment, extracurricular activities, sports participation, medical care, mental health, family acceptance. Research consistently shows that legal recognition reduces depression, anxiety, and suicide risk among transgender youth. HB 1225 removes that protective factor. Intersex infants are often assigned a sex at birth without their consent. Many later seek to amend their documents to reflect their identity. HB 1225 denies them that right. This is not just an LGBTQ plus issue. It is a human rights issue affecting bodily autonomy and self-determination. When documents do not match a person's appearance or identity, interactions with law enforcement become dangerous. A mismatched birth certificate can lead to accusations of fraud, detention, harassment, denial of corrective housing and custody, increased risk of violence. HB 1225 increases the likelihood of harmful encounters with police, jails, and courts. Healthcare providers rely on accurate identity documents for patient records, insurance billing, emergency care, referrals. When documents cannot be corrected, transgender patients face misgendering and discrimination. Providers may deny gender-affirming care. Insurance claims may be rejected. Medical records may be inconsistent. HB 1225 creates administrative barriers that directly harm health outcomes. Families with transgender children or adults face legal confusion, difficulty accessing services, challenges with school systems, barriers to travel, increased stress and fear. Parents supporting transgender youth are placed in conflict with state policy, creating tension, fear, and uncertainty. HB 1225 is part of a larger pattern in Oklahoma. Restrictions on gender-affirming care, bans on pride recognition, as we discussed in HB 1219, restrictions on school recognition of LGBTQ plus identities, bathroom restrictions, performance restrictions, and attempts to redefine family and parental rights. HB 1225 is the identity document component of the coordinated legislative strategy. It removes the legal foundation that allows transgender people to exist safely in public life. Living with documents that contradict your identity is not a minor inconvenience. It is a daily reminder that the state refuses to acknowledge your existence. This leads to chronic stress, hypervigilance, fear of public interactions, social withdrawal, increased mental health risks, and the harm is cumulative and profound. HB 1225 is not about record accuracy. It is about administrative consistency. It is about protecting, or it is not about protecting anyone. It is about denying transgender people the right to be recognized as themselves. By prohibiting amendments to the sex marker on birth certificates, Oklahoma is attempting to legislate identity out of existence. The bill creates lifelong barriers to safety, dignity, and participation in society. HB 1225 is not just a policy, it is a message, and that message is exclusion.